Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Livewire. We have been, we have some technical difficulties. I don't know what's going on with GPL today, but they're showing off themselves. Morning, guys. Welcome to the program. The show must go on, nevertheless. Just let me know if you guys are seeing and hearing me. Why is this here? Just a second, people. Yeah, guys, just let me know if you guys are seeing and hearing me clearly. And we'll get started with today's program. We mightn't go for the entire hour. As I said, we're sitting in the lobby here at the studio. Just as we were getting content together, um, I guess GPL had something more important to do with the lights. But nevertheless, as I said, the show must go on. And a couple of things for us to talk about this morning. Um, we didn't have a show yesterday morning for multiple reasons. Not the I wouldn't discuss that now, but um, the things I wanted to discuss with you range from Linden and among other things. So I'll start there. This situation in Linden is, again, as I said the day before, it's very unfortunate. I am urging Lindeners to allow the processes to go through, right? It's not been a week or a month since this incident would have happened. Um, so for persons to be crying out for justice and in the form of probably that they're not going to receive justice, I think it's very early for that. Um, the police, the president have made it clear that, guys, are you hearing me? Are you? Jesus. Okay, good. Yeah, they said they're hearing me. Morning to everybody. I can't read the comment section properly this morning. I'm on the phone, right? So, um, as I was saying, these calls for justice, eh, it seems to somebody who may not know what's happening that these incidents would have happened months ago and nothing is happening and people are frustrated. Literally 2 days ago, right? The one of the police who were involved, the police who did the first shooting, he is under close arrest as well. So please allow the police to do their work. You guys in Linden, I understand your emotions may be running high, but going out there and destroying property, um, causing people to not want to pass through Linden to conduct whatever business they're doing in the interior, or people from the interior getting to town, those persons have nothing to do with the situation. And I must echo the sentiments of, I think I saw German Figuera put out a post last night. I didn't read the whole thing, but at least the title where he said something to the effect of protesting, but doing it in a lawful manner, right? When protesters go out and act in a violent, destructive manner, these things do not quell the situation. It doesn't calm things down. And just as they are upset about the persons that they would have lost, those police out there who are doing a job, mind you, they have family too. So, I mean, if you're hurling missiles and things like that, this doesn't help the situation. It does not help the situation. So I'm asking Lindeners to reassess how you are approaching this situation. I know that the president did meet with the family and gave them some assurances in relation to how the situation will be handled and how they will approach things moving forward. I am hoping that that brought some has brought some ease to the minds and the spirits of the family and well, you're grieving, so I can't say hard, but rest assured that this is not an incident that will just vanish, and um, justice will be served. Just be patient and allow the lawful processes to take its course. I wish this thing would move from here. Anyway, I want to move on to another aspect of this Linden situation. Now, in normal fashion, we've seen these vultures start to circle Linden, right? Vultures have started to circle Linden, carrying. And that's the best way I could describe some of them. Opportunistic vultures, political opportunistic vultures that will take any situation and transform it into a political one. Any situation. Now, based on information that I would have received from people who live in Linden, I'm sorry if you guys are hearing some noise. We're not in the studio. We outside the studio, dark in there now. So the initial issue was the police were involved. It had some personal undertones happening there. So the government of Guyana didn't send the police to that young man. The government of Guyana, the president of this country, the prime minister, the vice president, the ministers weren't working at the station, had literally nothing to do with it. And we saw, in normal fashion, the political vultures appearing out of nowhere. Because the kind of irrelevance that they have now, it's grand. So we saw Nigel Hughes, we saw Simona Brooms, we saw Sherrod Duncan, all of them swarming down there in Lindener's moment of grief to capitalize on how they feel at this moment, to capitalize on it. I was going to play some videos here for you guys this morning, but as I said, the lights went, so I don't think it come back. Let me put on something so I can know when this light come back. Okay. Right. So I was going to play a video I saw with Nigel Hughes talking about we will not accept this, and we this, and we demand justice, and we this is we and we and we. Who is the we? Nigel Hughes. Who asks you to go and represent them or speak on their behalf on this topic? If you're giving your opinion on what happened, that's fine. But you can't just come and hijack the whole situation. Who's this we you're speaking about? Let me see if I find a video. I'll play it from my tablet so that you guys could hear exactly what I'm talking about. This guy is out of order. E-networks, your data service is I don't know, but y'all need to sort yourself out. E-networks, I get a little fed up of the foolishness. Why is this working like this? Okay, good. So let me turn on this other mic. But I think you should hear quite fine from this one, right? But I want y'all to hear this foolishness. And this is to show you how these people are. Again, I'm saying to you, this had nothing to do with politics. There's an allegation against the first youngster that passed away. Well, that was shot by police. Um, uh, he is either being investigated by the police or before the courts for that matter. And stemming from that matter, there were persons with grievances due to that matter. So this had nothing to do with politics or anything of the sort. So you guys listen to Nigel Hughes quickly for me. Oh man, come on, Mr. Internet.
Good evening. I am in Linden,
Firstly, who?
outside of the Lisbon police station. We have been here for the last hour and a half after having notifying the commander for the region that we have an eyewitness who saw the police officer Justin Katie shoot.
So, could you imagine, right?
At the
Nigel Hughes, just like at on the seawall, he get an eyewitness. Y'all remember the seawall situation with the guy who been on a roof away from a shooting that happened on the seawall? Shock, sorry. Yeah. Do y'all remember that? You remember that? Nigel Hughes, in normal fashion, showed up with somebody. Oh, I have a witness. See what happened. You understand? Now, could you imagine? There's rioting, protesting in Linden over this situation, right? Protesters trying to burn the old bridge. Protesters trying to burn the new bridge. Protesters destroying police vehicles. Protesters hurling missiles at the police and things like that. And Nigel Hughes vexed because the commander is occupied with his job. So the commander must now take police who are in danger, who are doing their job, in danger now. You understand? And responsible for restoring the peace, keeping persons safe who are not involved in this. Wait, guy is critical on this life. Come on. Morning to the guy in his critic. Pick up yourself. Share the life. Right? So Nigel Hughes is complaining about a commander doing his job. A commander doing his job. You understand? And is unable to leave the safety of all the residents in Linden who are not, or the rest of the residents in Linden who are not a part of the protest. You understand? To send somebody to take a statement from him. Mind you, anybody who ever been in trouble with the police ever for anything knows fully well the police has asked you if you want to write your statement and drop it. Nigel Hughes clearly, or I am assuming, is functioning in a legal capacity here because you're a lawyer. So I am thinking you're representing the witness now. You understand me? Write a statement. You write a statement to make sure all the information is correct and you pass it to the police. The police have more important things to do than to bother with you, Nigel Hughes. They now have to restore the little trust the Lindeners had in them. And as you could see, it will be a task. It will be a task. So nobody had time with you, Nigel Hughes. You got witness to who shoot who and whatnot. Nigel Hughes, I don't know the fullness surrounding the second shooting. You understand me? And I must say, I saw another video with Nigel Hughes and the so-called witness at the police station, right? Now, my comments that are coming now are based on what that gentleman said. His words were, You cannot do black people cheering this. You cannot do black people cheering this. Based on what I understood, the police who is involved in the second shooting, based on what I understand, I could be wrong. And I am open to correction if I'm wrong. Based on my understanding, that's Afro-Guyanese police too. So when you say you can't do black people cheering this, what kind of racial thing you're now trying to bring into this? The first person that died wasn't an Afro-Guyanese. So what are you trying to do? Since you reach up with Nigel Hughes, now this is a police on Afro-Guyanese thing, right? The person went on to say in the video, the gentleman and who Nigel Hughes was waiting at the police station with, that the guy Dan, the second one that passing is Dan Johnson, is his name, or that's his call name, that he was not involved in the protest. He wasn't nowhere around there. So how did Dan get shot? If Dan was not out on the road there, was Dan passing, going his way, or what was going on? So I am saying to y'all, I'm not trying to investigate or anything. I am just showing you how persons with political motives can inspire others to sell fallacious stories just to add fuel to the fire. You understand? Just to add fuel to the fire. This has nothing to do with race. One, this has nothing to do with the government of Guyana. The Guyana police force is answerable for the first situation. And in my opinion, the second situation, I am saying everybody in this country has a right to protest, but not in that manner. You can't block road, you can't burn thing in the road, you can't pelting people with bottle and brick and all kind of thing. That is not what the Constitution allows for. Right? That is not what the Constitution allows for. Take into consideration, if you were a police officer, and I have heard of cases before in other countries where protesters are injured or may have lost their lives due to protest action. But that is never the case when it's a peaceful protest. The police don't come and, attack you and that kind of thing if you're protesting peacefully. So if the people of Linden want their voices to be heard, I'm begging you guys to do it in a proper manner. Don't put police lives at risk due to your protest action. Right? They have families too. I am not trying to dwarf what has happened in Linden to those two gentlemen. Again, the president has ensured an investigation will ensue shortly. Let's go back to this video here with this retard. How the hell you jump out of there already? You're so disappointing this morning. I got 7% on this tablet. Probably that's why it's going on like this. But I wanted to share that video with you with Nigel Hughes, but like I said, GPL had other plans for us today. Come on. Right? No. I saw a video too of a police vehicle fleeing, the windows broken, the front glass broken, and a crowd of people running behind the van. Couple of like about 3 or 4 motorcycles chasing the van. And I saw persons on Facebook saying, school sports, the scrapes got the police running, the police frightened. Please understand. Please understand. There's no way, shape, or form that The protesters there have more firepower than the police. The police are moving away so as to not have reason to use force or deadly force, right? You people who are posting these videos, encouraging and saying and egging on these people, thinking that they're driving fear into the police are moving away so that they do not have reason to use deadly force. Please, this is not the way. This is not the way. Even the police who are in Linden now working, none of them, I think it's 3 of them were involved in the first incident. 3 of them. The rest didn't have anything to do with it. So on what grounds are you hurling missiles at them when they are doing their job? On what grounds? Right? So again, I'm asking for persons who feel the need to protest, and you have a right to protest. If you feel you have been wronged or somebody feel has been wrong, you have a right to protest. But you have to do it in a sensible way and in a way that doesn't endanger other persons, impede other people's lives. What the oh shit. Anyway, let's go back to this video here. Y'all continue listening to this foolishness. Right? And that's why I say political vultures, because all they care about is the opportunities to get in front of a camera outside of the press conference where people can actually listen to them again, because that time has passed.
Public today. I have indicated to the commander that we have an eyewitness and that he's prepared to give a statement tonight. The commander told me an hour and a half ago that he was sending a
The data on the iPad here is a little slow.
officer and
The video is sticking. But my point is, Nigel Hughes, you don't think the commander got something of more priority to deal with? Nigel Hughes, you don't know of attorneys or witnesses writing their statements and submitting it to the police? Instead of waiting there for an hour and a half, you could have gone and sit that man down in your big fancy Lexus with the air conditioning and take his statement and submit it to the station. The police are engaged in trying to keep the peace or return the area to a peaceful state. What's wrong with you? And what Nigel Hughes is doing here is for the foreigners, it's for y'all out there. This is to make you guys think that the police trying to cover up something. The police ain't got time with listening to this witness. The police doing the one thing. We at the station for an hour and a half. Foolishness. Why you didn't go out to the bridge and ask the people them not to burn down the bridge that connecting them to the other side? That sending all the people to Brazil and Latam and whoever else going into the interior. You don't think they were busy doing that? You don't think the police from the Office of Professional make this thing go off again. The police from the Office of Professional Responsibility was trained as a police rank. So she probably get reassigned to help quell the crowd, or he get to help quell the crowd. You understand? Listen to this guy.
the Office of Professional Responsibility. He's yet to arrive, and we rather suspect that the police are hoping that we get tired.
You hear that?
And that we leave.
You hear that? This is in the middle of a riot in Linden, a protest. I don't even know what to call it, because that's not protesting. In the middle of a riot in Linden. In the middle of a riot in Linden. He's suspecting that the police is hoping that they get tired. People burning in the streets. They got a businessman in Linden riling up people. I don't know what he go to Linden for. So my point is, Azruddin Mohammed can do nothing in this situation here. He probably could pay for the funeral. He like share away money. That's it. He can't bring no justice to nobody. He can't lock up the police. He can't do nothing. But just to make himself something, to maintain relevance, he is there. You understand? He is there. So a learned attorney as like Nigel Hughes cannot understand or fathom during a riot in Linden that the police are otherwise disposed in terms of trying to calm that situation, don't get people to go back in the home, stop boarding. Y'all heard about the sawmill that get burned down last night in Linden, in the Amelia's Ward area there? Nowhere close to where the shooting happened. Not a relative of anybody, the police or anybody who shoot. So what was the reason for that? No, a businessman lost his business and probably millions of dollars in equipment. Lindeners just like y'all who out there rioting lost the job. They ain't got no work to go to this morning. So a mother or a wife at home studying how the male or whoever it is that bringing in this money gonna provide now because he ain't working.
Third, and the delay. I will be here with this witness for as long as it takes the police to record evidence of a crime against one of their own. And as I have the...
You see? So he is trying to put a narrative like the police covering up. Not that the police engage with rioters in Linden. So the police must drop everything and deal with Nigerians because of what? Because you are who? And mind you, I am not saying police right or whatnot. You know, based on the initial shooting, based on the video that I saw, that police has a lot of questions to answer. The sergeant, I can't remember his name. He has a lot of questions to answer. Secondly, I will say this in relations to the public relations unit of the Guyana Police Force and the top brass of the Guyana Police Force, the officers there. Now, we all need to remember, because I heard a lot of people complain about the release from the police. What you need to remember is the public relations unit, the commander of the region, the top brass of management of the Guyana Police Force, initially has to go on the information provided by the sergeant or the officers there. Now, in their mind, they're thinking these persons are trustworthy and honest because they're dealing with law enforcement and this kind of thing, and you know they're supposed to be. So the commander, and who would have probably sent the report to town, isn't expecting the sergeant to light in. I am saying to you that I highly doubt that the commander or the commissioner or anybody, the ops officer or anybody saw that video and then put out that statement. Right? So it is a clear case of the police, the one who did the initial shooting, misleading his superiors. Misleading his superiors. You understand? Now, could you imagine two constables there, the sergeant say, hey, pick up the trolley, take me along. Sergeant, you think them two constables, sergeant will be going, you understand me? So that sergeant has a lot to answer for, And as I said, the president said there'll be an investigation into it. Let's continue quickly before this iPad dies.
In relation to the RSS, this body has a less than stellar history in there. You may recall.
Now, on a point of order, this guy talking about the RSS and that they had a less than stellar history in Guyana. Nigel Hughes, listen to me carefully. You have had a less than stellar history in Guyana. Look how much cases you lost. People still hiring you. ExxonMobil still hiring you. So what do you mean but less than stellar history? Just because some people may not have performed as best as they could, that means that's the end of them? Look at you. Case in point, you have a less than stellar history when you start to present witnesses to crimes and shootings. Based on your history, sir, with the gentleman on the roof at the seawall, why should we believe you find any witness that should be credible in anything? The AFC has a less than stellar history, and y'all are still out and about. Where are the SOPs from 2020, the 2020 election? Up to now, and that's another thing I'm going to jump to. They put out, wait, I'll come to that just now. But that is my point. Your history, Mr. Hughes, is less than stellar. You're the one who brought the numbers game into the parliament and corrupt this whole nation. That's not a stellar history. That is not good history to remember. So why should we be listening to you on anything based on your history? You're talking about people. Pot, please leave the kettle alone. Pot, I'm asking you to please leave the kettle alone. You should not be talking about anything like that. When last you win a case, brother? If we were dealing with, if that is how we're looking at things, you should start practicing law. Because you have a less than stellar history of winning cases. Less than stellar. You have a wonderful voice. I'm Nigel Hughes, and here we go. Yes, Your Honor, and I certainly don't believe, and we'll be here until I think you want us to get tired. Yeah, you got a nice voice. But less than stellar history as it relates to performing in the courtroom. And the Guyanese have not cast you aside. So why we should cast aside the RSS? Why? Look at yourself, sir, before you talk about others. What's wrong with this guy?
The Henry boys were killed. Several international forensic experts volunteered their services.
Back to the Henry boys.
This government,
again, playing on the emotions of people. And that's all he does, you know. That's all he does. He knows what history to bring up. He knows what history to bring up. Only certain things are worth bringing up.
refused to accept. And
this is where you're about to start with this wee thing. I was wondering what
the RSF,
where are this internet? Networks.
brought in by this government, and they found that the Guyana Police Force was doing an excellent job into the investigation.
So because the RSS, so the Guyana Police Force, was doing a good job into the investigation, that means the RSS bad. Right? I mean the RSS bad.
Of the murder of the Henry boys, and that, in other words, they sanitized one of the most brutal murders.
So could you believe that? You hear what he's saying by the RSS. He's alleging that the RSS come to Guyana and sanitize a crime scene so that the I don't even know what he trying to say, because based on my knowledge, the police were not involved in the Henry boys murder. Based on my knowledge, the police were not involved. So I don't know what Nigel Hughes is trying to say here. You understand?
And we do not have confidence in the ability of...
Who's we? This is what I was talking about earlier. Who is this we? Did the family ask you to represent them? Did Mr. Peters and Mr. Dan, did they ask you to represent them? Who's this we you're talking about? You're not the mayor of Linden. You're not the deputy mayor of Linden. Even if Sharma Solomon said this, he would have been more than right. We as a Linden. Now, who are you? You realize that more people came out to that protest riot than they came out when the ancestors sent you to Linden to talk to them. You realize that, right, Nigel Hughes? So who's this we that you're speaking of? Who we?
Began a police force with or without the RSS to conduct anything like an independent investigation. We are therefore calling for the best international
Who is we?
investigative facility.
We didn't hear that from the president. I mean, from the meeting with the family. So who's this we? He ain't related to none of them. So who's this we? Who we? Who we talking about? You rather fronting, brother. You rather fronting. I don't understand this, This guy is. Look, I ain't got time with Nigel. And Nigel try it out. I wanted to talk to y'all about. Again, I'm asking the Lindeners to please allow the investigation to happen, and whoever is found culpable, let the chips fall within me. I want to show you all this flyer. I wanted to talk about Mohammed's too, but I ain't got the time. Look at this flyer. Look at this flyer. Look at it here. Right? Look at this flyer. Let me take this off. I'm done with this. Look at this flyer. It says, let's keep elections free and fair. This is an AFC flyer. Trusted by the people equals trusted results. Guyanese deserve elections we can all believe in. AFC and Nigel Hughes are fighting for your voice to be counted. Honestly, better must come. First of all, why y'all talking about AFC and Nigel Hughes like y'all the two separate entities? He's the leader of the AFC. So why is this separation? And I am asking, you're talking about trusted by the people. How are the people to trust you, AFC, Nigel Hughes, if on to know you say installed, you say whatever it is, you join AP and you protest outside of GCOM on Tuesday. The three of you, along with the other three, and the six of y'all, and the other six people just collect from the palms to make the 12 persons that usually go out there. On to know you have not showed the people why they should trust you. You and your party declared victory at the 2020 elections. You have not shown anything that would lead persons to believe that you are indeed victorious. You have not produced the SOPs that you claim to have. So how could you talk now about trusted by the people equals trusted results? If you wanted the people to trust you, you would have showed them the SOPs that said AP and UAFC won these elections. And then they'd have said, yes, well, we see them and we need to look into this thing because the PVP got something different, GCOM got something that the PVP got, and AFC, AP, and you got something different. Let me see what's going on here. But on to know you nor your coalition partner or divorcee or wherever y'all got going, friends with benefits. I don't know the relationship between the AP and you and the AFC right now. But none of them have come forward to show these SOPs. So how can you now speak about trusted elections and fighting for your vote to be... We want to see the votes that are counted in 2020. We want to see the votes that were counted in 2020. That's what we want to see. Y'all were fighting for a voice since then. Show me the votes in 2020 that y'all get. Show us the SOPs that you have. And my thing is, this is so simple to do. This would give them so much credibility. But the more that they hold on and don't present it to the people, it shows Guyanese people that they cannot be trusted. So could you imagine the party with the least credibility talking about credible election off the heels of a horrible rigging attempt? 4 Russians we never see. Y'all remember how Cameron Ramjatan get upset at the press conference when I asked him about the information he presented and the information that he had in the dossier and the difference between the two? Just look, listen to me. Listen to me. Then they have a next one. Look at this one. Right? A clean voters list matters. Keep elections free and fair. You understand? And they can imagine all the shenanigans that happened at the last election. The only thing that you can fault PPP for is rowing when the elections were the thieving started to happen. The rigging started to happen. That is when observers from the PPPC became unruly and spoke loudly. They didn't go into a room and threaten observers to take their accreditation. They didn't get people to call in a bomb scare. They weren't in cahoots with then members of the Guyana police, senior members of the Guyana police force. And these are the things I'd like people to remember. So now they're talking about biometrics. Up to now, the allegations remove fake names and deceased voters. Jesus. Up to now, the allegations made by a former commissioner of police, I think, he was the one who said that they had some lists of people who were out of Guyana but voted on elections day. Right? I am trying to figure out how they come up with this list. Because, so is it a case where you got a list of all the Guyanese that are out of the country on election day, every single Guyanese, and then you run this? How did you come up with this information? How? I tried my best to wrap my brain around it. So immigration would have a record of all the Guyanese out of the country who has left the country, not just on election day. Once you're Guyanese, a passport, you stamp, they know you left this country. Right? Do they have a record of that? Your name gonna be on a flight list. So they'd have a record that you left this country. But I am wondering, how do you know where? How do you, the commissioner, know where I am supposed to vote, and on what grounds did you go and check for me? Given the time when that had come out, mind you, why haven't we heard something substantial about that list of these persons who are overseas? No one. Firstly, we didn't see the list. That's the first thing. We didn't see the list. It's just we've heard about this list. Several persons came out and said, "Listen, I see the government name on some. People saying that I think they proffered a couple of names, and these people came out with the ID card saying, "Look, I was in Guyana. I live in Guyana." That kind of thing. So, how you come with this information? We haven't seen anything credible in relation to dead people voting. One. Two, people who vote impersonation. People voting for other people are coming with fake ID card and voting. No, nothing credible to that effect. Only the accusations of the opposition. Not one credible incident that we could point to and say, well, yes, this one is one that we know of. None. And that's how these people are. They make allegations, give you no evidence to back it up, and then vex with you when you say, well, man, me really believe that you got to come better than that. You got to do better. Right? No evidence to support all these things that they're saying. Tons of evidence to support what they did at the last elections, but they're not discussing that. And they're the ones talking about free and fair elections when the record shows clearly who tried to rig the elections, the 2020 elections. Clearly. clearly. Jesus Christ. It couldn't be more clear. It was as clear as the closet that Sherrod in. It was as clear as the closet that Sherrod is in. Come out the closet, brother. We see you. Don't hide in there. We know you. I'm sorry. But it's true. As clear. Come out, Sherrod. Come out. Anyway, I had one more thing I wanted to talk about with this guy, Mohammed's. I saw a video of him saying some crazy thing. Let me see. I think it's here. What do you guys think about government paying for? Sorry. What do you guys think about the government paying for CXC for students in public and private schools? That was announced, I think, yesterday. And as Joel would have said on Behind the Agenda last night, even if we only put 100,000 CXC students in the system at $9,000 per subject, that's I think he said $7.2 billion back into the pockets of parents, right? So UG is free. You have all these other free technical vocational training programs. Now, parents don't have to worry about at least the first 8 subjects that the children write in, right? At least the first 8 subjects that the children write in. And I think that is wonderful, right? This government and then look at that. They got some people talking about the government not looking after national issues. The government not looking after national issues. Again, I say to you, they won't know a national issue if it slapped them in the face. Hey, the iPad battery done. GPL, you're going on lawless. What's going on? Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. Did I turn off this music? Oh, yes, I did. Sometimes I forget. Especially when I'm on the phone, you can't hear the music playing. Anyway, guys, I am out of here. Y'all have a wonderful day. Don't forget, at 2 p.m. today, there is the press conference by the General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party. Persons who would have got your phone call, y'all head down to the Artichon Conference Center. The Ministry of Housing is having a Dream Realize activity there today. So I am going to pass there and do a live there so you guys can see what's happening there as well. Persons receiving house lots today, paying for their house lots, a step closer to that homeowner the homeowner status for those people out there today. Also, there's an announcement. There'll be an announcement by His Excellency happening. It should be going on now, I think. Yeah. Well, it should start shortly if it hasn't started as yet. So you guys can look out for that as well. I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. As I usually say before I go, I don't know how I'm going to work this out. As I usually say before I go, it's all about peace. It's all about love. It's all about one Guyana. Y'all take care. Be safe.
We are a peaceful people, struggle as we struggle, and we don't look